Hey, hey. Just a little taste. It is Monday afternoon, August 19th, 2019. And I'm going to give my first impressions on a couple of recordings I just received today. I will speak more about them, I'm sure, but my first impressions are strong. So it's like, let me do this because I'm feeling it. And so here we go. You just heard a little snippet of the brand new, I'll tell you about this shirt if I don't forget. The brand new release from the Moon Men, from Moon Men. Moon Men. This is a kind of a unknown supergroup in a way. We have Brett Harold Hart, who I have collaborated with. Dave Newhouse from the Muffins and Mana Mirage fame. Bill Youngworth, who plays with him. Jerry King from Cloud Over Jupiter. This is the third Moon Men release. And my initial impression is real strong. I want to talk about it. Several things strike me right away about this. Moon Men is definitely a group in that this group of people are inhabiting or creating a world unto themselves in a lot of ways. Online, they're always posting humorous and sometimes things that just make you think. Posts related to the moon, lunar things, lunacy, old advertising, jokes, all kinds of stuff. And the whole project is it's a group, but it's really quite a work of art. I've really noticed that it's like they're carving out this entire Moon Men landscape. And when it comes to the music, I like the way this starts. Now, I'm going to need to refresh myself on the first two ones, but what I find interesting about the Moon Men sound is that it sounds old and new at the same time. It's like there's they don't sound at all like the Residents, but there's something about the approach sound-wise where it's like it's not all polished off. It's almost like you could imagine being in a room with them or in the next room while things are happening. They're really doing a great job of the marketing, I would say. This comes with it, a signed postcard, and all the band members have these aliases. Stulu Moon, Fook, Crater, Bill Zilm. It's a total work of art. This is a book of stickers, or is that what these are? Number 30, 33 out of 39. And it's like this whole graphic sensibility, these pictures. It's a whole headspace going on. I got a lot going on, and yet as I look at this and as I was listening to it, I was realizing I just really need to spend some time on this and let it just kind of sink in, because there's a lot going on here. And I do think that the band is giving you a lot to absorb if you're interested in giving it the time. The music is great, but you look at the titles, and it's like they're intriguing even, The Dark Side of the Moon is dark for a reason, Nurse Ratched and Eobop to me, you know? I love the design of the CD as well. I like that. So I can enthuse about the Moonmen 3 right away and encourage you to pick up on this. There is a not direct, but there you can hear the ties to the Muffins, to an Art Bear's rock and opposition sensibility or approach to the music. I'm not sure how else to put it. It's a little button too. I like the fact that the way that these guys write, I don't know what to expect next. It takes me a minute or two to orient myself, and after a few listens, it settles in, and it's right in my wheelhouse. So right away, Brett, Dave, Bill, Jerry, thumbs up on this, and sell it out, sell them all, Moonmen 3. This is a good one, folks. This is a good one. I also received, now I know I got other stuff to review. I haven't gotten to it, I haven't forgotten, but these two arrived today, and they gave me such a strong impression right away. It says, well, let me just go ahead and talk about this. Why wait? Philip B. Klinger is an electro, maybe you could say an electroacoustic artist, who I became familiar with before I made his acquaintance online. I bought a CD that he made with Asmus Tychens. I'm looking at my CD case because I'm trying to think if I could pull it right quick, but I don't think I can. But the CD, I bought it knowing Asmus Tychens. I didn't know PBK, but it's a favorite of mine, of that electronic ilk. And we became friends. We haven't met, but we're connected literally through the internet. And he sent me some music before, but we just did a trade. And he sent me his most recent release, PBK, Thinking of Eternity. And this is a vinyl release of some old tapes of his. This is number 118 out of 300 press that he sent me. Thank you very much, Philip. It has an accompanying text which explains the origins of these recordings, which were date back to the 90s, and some live recordings where he explains how he's set it up, and it's in tribute to Mobius Rodelius Cluster. And this was immediately captivating. It's like I put it on, and rather than it starts and I'm gone and I'm doing something else, it starts and it grabs my attention right away. The texture, tone, and entire where it's coming from right away, the ambience of the recording itself is just what I love. Now he explains here he's got a setup where he's manipulating some devices in real time with the idea, working with loops, and the idea of a repeating loop, a bass repeating loop, and these other evolving aspects. This is wonderful. Matter of fact, side 2, when I got to side 2, there's one point where it's doing this thing, and it sounds like the Faust tapes. Faust tapes is an amazing album, one of my favorite albums of all time. I say that, but it's one of them. But side 2 gets into a thing, and it's like, whoa, this is cool. And it brought to mind the Faust tapes, because what it's doing is just, wow, this is cool. Philip B. Klinger, PBK. This is again called Thinking of Eternity. There's only 300 copies of this on vinyl. Let me see. The Table Sports is the label. table sports. Really, really good. Really good. So now I'm going to go ahead and give my first review, because this is still something I'm going to absorb some more. But this is, again, in the same company as the Moonmen and the Philip B. Klinger, in that it's music that's coming necessarily from these people. This is a new release by Tom Ludvigson and Gianmarco Liguori. Espiritu Santo Variations. This is another very, very cool piece of vinyl. There's only 100 of these. Each of the covers is unique, silk screened, or they show them online, but each one, the coloring and everything is unique, hand done. Okay. So cool. 180 gram vinyl. This explains these recordings. This stuff is improvised. Captures the initial musical dialogue between Liguori and Ludvigson beginning in March 2014. Okay. And it involves their absorbing some rhythms, some native rhythms. He says, Gianmarco says, Tom and I never discussed the direction of the music, yet an organic, quasi-Pacific industrial music manifested itself. Polyrhythmic, squelchy electronic, psychedelic, in that it's like, yeah, someone asked me about psychedelic. Did I like, I'll reference it. They asked me, did I think, like, for example, How Soon Is Now by the Smiths is psychedelic. I can see how that could be psychedelic to someone. But myself, having done the psychedelic experience many times, as well as growing up really digging the evolvement of rock music through psychedelia, or discovering things, this is definitely psychedelic. The whole idea of creating audio spaces and stuff that is it's almost visual. It's audio, but it's visual what it does. This is really thick soup. And again, I like that all of the elements involved, electronics, turntables, some real percussion, whatever, it doesn't sound derivative, and it doesn't at all sound like it's trying to reference anything. So my initial impression of my first few listens to this Espiritu Santo Variations by Ludvigson and Liguori, very, very positive. This is really the kind of music that I do want to encourage more people to check out. It's organic. There's something really organic about all this music. This PBK, even the Moonmen. You know, it's like, that's why I say the music sounds kind of not old, but like it's a place that's been around for a while, and here we come visiting, and this is what they're doing now, but they've been doing this for a long time. Really, really good stuff. I kind of needed this today, you know. Music really is important. I'm going to go a little bit further because I got these records from FPE, and I know that Matt is looking for reviews. I can give another review here. I can't review them all today, but I can talk about Nicole Mitchell. He sent me another recording by the award-winning jazz, well, I think she's just an amazing musician, flautist, educator, Nicole Mitchell. Black Earth Art Ensemble or whatever. I have the records over here. This is Maroon Cloud, and I've listened to this pretty much all the way through. One of the things that strikes me about her recordings is that it it sounds to me like she purposely records things in a way as though it's like you're there witnessing a performance. It's like real straight. It's well recorded, but it's like it just sounds like it's live. And most of this sounds live. She's playing, but it's not. I can hear that it's dubbing. She's singing and then there's flute playing, but the essence of it, okay? I read the notes, but let me just touch base right. Okay. Yes, warm realness, absolutely. Some notes on here about her by John Zorn. Whoa, I checked that out. This is food for the soul and the mind. The woman is, I think, a deeply knowledgeable composer, as well as able to express these this stuff. I don't want to say ideas because it's more than ideas. It's her essence. It comes through. It's like history in action, unfolding. There is a lot of blackness in this music. Necessarily, I have to say that about it. It's capturing an essence of an entire life. Not grasping for words because it's not a lifestyle. A whole people. Now I see there's other musicians on here. I hardly have noticed them in my listening here so far, I'll be honest. But again, I need to listen to this deeper. But I'm giving, again, an initial review because it's positive, and it's like Nicole Mitchell is a musician, artist that more people need to know about. I will go ahead and be like that. You know, everyone talks about how you need to know the classics and you need to know, you haven't lived if you haven't heard The Boss and stuff like that. I'm not disputing that. But I'll bet you'll go to new places when you check out some of this stuff that no one else is hardly talking about. I am happy to have the opportunity to tell you guys about some of this amazing music that is just nowhere on the radar of the mainstream. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up here because I got more to review and I've got all kinds of stuff always to talk about. But the T-shirt that I'm wearing today, this is not the church T-shirt. This is not a band. This is not related to the band The Church from Australia. What this is this is a unique shirt. I'm the only person that has this shirt. I'll explain. Among many other things that I've done in my life, I've worked on movies. I started out as like a wardrobe assistant on this film, Lovely Still. I've talked about it before with the Academy Award winning actors Martin Landau and Ellen Burstyn. From that movie, I ended up getting the job for this movie, April Showers. And this movie, I think this came out in 2007 or 8. I'm the wardrobe. I'm in charge, the supervisor, wardrobe supervisor for this movie. I basically designed the look of the clothing, of course, based on what the director wanted for this movie. This movie is based on Columbine 420, the kids that went on the killing spree. Andrew Robinson, who's the director and the writer of this, was a student there at the time and was familiar with those guys. So this is not a direct, this is what happened that day, but this is based on that. For the movie, Andrew, we worked with Disney as well. We worked with Disney actors. It was interesting, quite a neat experience working on this movie. But they had some stuff designed specifically for the movie, among them some T-shirts that the goth kids would wear, the ones that were related to the killers. And so they had some T-shirts designed just for the movie and they're not available commercially. They were only used in the movie. Now, I don't know if they use this one. They designed 3 or 4, and there's one other that I have. No one else has except maybe one of the actors in the movie. That if he had wanted it, I would let them have certain things, and it's kosher. But as the wardrobe supervisor, it was left to me, to do with what you do with wardrobe. I learned a lot. I was able to keep stuff, and I ended up with a lot of stuff that I don't want this. What do I do? But these T-shirts I thought were cool, so I got to keep them. And this is the only place that you'll see it is on me. And perhaps in this movie, I don't remember if there's any scenes where you see this shirt. You'll see another one. There's also scenes in this movie where the principal actor, what's his name? Kelly Blatz. He was a Disney kid. And also Daryl Sabara from Spy Kids. I worked with him, and Janelle Parrish from Bratz. I worked with them. Ileana Douglas, do you know her? And Tom Arnold, Roseanne Barr's ex-husband. I work with those people in this, and I got some great stories working with those guys. But Kelly, actually, when we were doing wardrobe, we were looking for certain looks, and it got to the point where we couldn't find this certain look, and we ended up using some of my personal wardrobe in the movie to achieve a certain look for him in certain scenes. We also ended up doing that with Martin Landau. There's a scene in here where Martin Landau is wearing my sweater. So cool. So I thought I'd share that with you about this T-shirt. Right quick, besides those movies, I'm involved with this movie, Sick Birds Die Easy, with the remixing of the music. Here's another movie that's probably, in my opinion, the weakest of the movies I've worked on. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. The Scientist. I worked on wardrobe on this one. If you want to check this out. Science fiction, The Scientist. And then here's my movie I've talked about, Flyover Country, where my album Flyover was developed out of doing the soundtrack. This was my first soundtrack job. So that's what I want to share with you today. I'm going to spare you any talk about social politics stuff because it's so bizarre right now. Everything is so bizarre and weird, and that's what I'll say. It's just, man, every day I'm hoping for some clarity and for things to become more sane. And the profit-hungry 0.1% just rubs our face in it and just stirs the shit up constantly in the media. The world is a madhouse as a result, It doesn't have to be this crazy, folks, I'm telling you. All right. I'll be reading your comments.